Hello people of the internet, McManicus here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Warlords of Draenor beta. Now, several weeks ago I found myself, for some reason, having access to said Warlords of Draenor beta, and I've been playing it ever since. And I've been leveling, and have reached level 99, and have finished all the main content. All I gotta do is clean up some side quests, and I will be at level 100. Unfortunately, the beta is only up for me during the wee hours of the morning because of the place in which I live and the time zone and all that. So I haven't really had a whole lot of time to do things. But I have. That's why it's taken me weeks. It's taken me weeks to level 10 levels, which is good because there's a lot of content, and it would have taken me a few days even if I couldn't have played only in the middle of the night. It took me weeks because I could only play in like 11 to 3 in the morning or something like that. Some crazy hours like that. But yeah, so I'm going to be telling you about my experiences in the beta, and I hope y'all like it. So, or at least find it educating. So, you start off in the beta, you go talk to the giant comically large Khadgar that's standing in the middle of Stormwind, and he's all like, "Hey friend, we gotta go barrel roll through the dark portal, it's a suicide mission, you in, man?" Then we all like, "Yeah man, we're in." So we go barrel rolling through the dark portal. There's when I started this whole epic adventure, there was no cinematic, but now there is a cinematic, and it's a really awesome cinematic, so I'm happy about that. And so we go barrel rolling through, and there's a bunch of Iron Horde orcs, and then Khadgar and Thrall was all like, "Peoples, we gotta do something, man." And then I don't know why I'm doing like a troll Vol'jin sort of voice there, but anyway, so we kill some Iron Horde goons, and it turns out they're using the Shadow Council orcs to power their dark portal, so we gotta take them down, and we accidentally wind up releasing Gul'dan, and it's pretty cool. And then the dark portal gets closed temporarily, of course. And then Khadgar's all like, "Come on, man, we gotta get out of here." And then starts the epic 10-level journey through the TAAD jungle, starting leveling experience thing, which is really awesome. You get introduced to all the warlords with these funky, or these really nice sort of cinematic sort of things, and their names come up, and it's all like, here is Blackhand, and here is Gul'dan, and here is this other guy, the guy with the eye, or the lack of one eye. Anyway, is it like Zuru or something? Yes, Zuru is a warlord. So, then once the, it's a really awesome leveling, that, it's like, I spent about an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, I think, but although I'm not really sure because I had to go, I was interrupted right in the middle, so roughly an hour and a half, maybe. So it's a really cool leveling experience in that starting area, and then you get down, you barrel roll through the Iron Horde orcs, you kill a bunch of them, you release some of their prisoners, and that is where we first meet Yero, actually, the hero of the Draenor, which we find her, she's locked up in a cage, and then we help her on her path to glory, which is just it's really fun finding a character in a cave, and then, like, you don't think about it when you find her. Honestly, I didn't even realize that was the Euro that was, like, the big Warlords of Draenor character. We just found her in a cave, and it was so low-key, like, that we got a quest to, like, go free some prisoners, and then she was just there in a cave, and we freed her, and, like, I didn't really think about it. And until we got out, and she was in the Garrison, and then I was all like, wait, this is Euro. This is the girl we freed in the cave. Oh, it's like this light bulb went off in my head, and it was awesome. I was like, wait, we freed her, and now she's here. We started her epic journey. This is pretty cool. Like, you don't even think about it when it happens. It was just this routine free the prisoners quest. And then all of a sudden there's a major character tossed in the mix, and you don't even realize, you honestly don't think about it. And so anyway, you barrel roll through some more Iron Horde orcs, and eventually you really do blow up the dark portal. You just deactivate it temporarily the first time. The second time, you actually blow it up on your way out. Then you steal a ship, and depending upon whether you're Alliance or Horde, you go to the appropriate area. So if you're Alliance, like I was, you go to Shadow Moon. If you're in Horde, then you go to Frostfire Ridge by, these big Iron Horde boats. And it's really cool. So I haven't, like I said, it's only up for the beta's only up for the wee hours of the morning for me, so I haven't actually had time to play through the Horde leveling experience. I just got done with the Alliance leveling experience. So from this point forward, like, the TAAD jungle starting experience is, like, I assume a combined experience for both Alliance and Horde. I just assume for, like, maybe Horde, you're talking to Thrall instead of Khadgar or something. So I've been playing from Alliance, so keep that in mind. So I go to Frostfire Ridge, or you go to Frostfire. We go to Frostfire Ridge. That is it. That is a we thing. So we go to Frostfire Ridge, and then Velen is there waiting for us. Not our Velen, alternate universe Velen. And he's all like, "Hello, the prophets told me that you would come, and that I was to trust you and help you." And then we're all like, okay. And then he takes us up to this hill, and he says, "Here, you may build a base here," which becomes your garrison. It's a nice little hill, a lunar fall or something like that. And the portal opens, and then the gnomes come out with their little technologies, and the dwarves with their camels with all this stuff on the back. There's camels for some reason, and then they're all like, the foreman comes out, he's all like, "Hello, we gotta start building now." And then you get some quests to go gather up some stuff, and then they start building your garrison. And, spoiler alert, the level 1 garrison is not really incredible. The level 2 garrison is great. The level 2 garrison is going to be your garrison for most of the leveling experience. Like, you have the level 1 garrison for a little while, and then you get into level 2, which is where you actually start, like, all the garrison gameplay really comes into, like, effect. And then there's still a few things held in reserve for the level 3 garrison, of course, which you unlock at level 100. So, after all of this stuff with Garrison and Velen is all like, so anyway, I'm losing focus. So then you start questing with Draenor, they're really cool. It's a really, really interesting to see the Draenor civilization in its sort of former glory, sort of. I mean, this is technically after their glory days, but it's still like, it's a really, really cool civilization they have. I kind of wonder, like, I kind of wonder. They got some really cool technology, like floating crystal turret things and stuff. It's really cool. So you quest with the Velen, not Velen. Velen just sort of disappears and goes off somewhere for a while. Although, actually, no, he doesn't. I don't remember. At some point, you get a quest to. No, there's a quest line with Velen, but there's a lot of quest lines. Like there's a lot of quest lines, and it's really cool. Every zone has multiple quest hubs. So instead of instead of in the old way they used to do it, where you had your choice of going to different zones, in the new way they do it, you're in the same zone, but you have a choice to go to different quest hubs, which are in different areas, which have their own different styles and different characters and atmospheres and all that, in the same zone. So it's along a theme, but it's not the same thing. Unfortunately, I found that in a lot of the zones you do have to do all of the quest hubs, except I don't think I had to do all the quest hubs in Gorgrond. I think I could have moved on without doing one of them. But anyway, I'm losing focus and I'm going out of order. So you're in Shadowmoon Valley and you're fighting the orcs, the Shadowmoon orcs led by Ner'zhul, is it? I think. And it's it's a good time. It's a good time. And is it Ner'zhul? Who's the leader of the Shadowmoon Orc clan? I don't know. I don't remember his name. I'm bad with names. Sorry. I should probably have written this sort of stuff down before I started recording. But hell, whatever. Moving on. So you fight him, and then lots of awesome stuff happen. The atmosphere in Shadowmoon Valley is incredible. It's one of the few places in the world that is actually dark at nighttime. Let me explain. It's dark there all the time, but it's brighter in the daytime. So it's a brighter sort of dark in the daytime than it is in the nighttime, which means nighttime has to be darker than nighttime everywhere else because it's darker in the daytime. Does that make any sense? I feel like that makes sense. So the nighttime in Shadowmoon Valley is actually close to how I would like to see nighttime everywhere in the game. It's not dark enough to the point where you can't see. It's dark enough where it feels moody and atmospheric. Like everything more than, 50, 100 meters away, it just looks sort of dark and foggy and moody and atmospheric. It's nice. It's really nice at night. It's nice in the daytime too, but the way they pulled off the nighttime is actually really clever because they're planets in the sky over Draenor, or currently in Outland. You know how those planets in the sky? Well, it's like that in the old Draenor. There's a bunch of planets in the sky, and one of the planets in the sky is on the other side of the planet, like in Shadowmoon Valley. It looks like this planet is eclipsing the sun. The way the beams of light are coming out from behind the planet, it looks like the sun is behind it. And then at nighttime, those effects are lessened, which I rather like. It's actually really nice. But, no, not but. And, yeah, it's nice. So it gets darker at night and brighter in the day. So, what next? So, after you're done in Shadow Moon, you do all the questing stuff. I don't want to spoil too much, but stuff happens. There's Neru, and there's a really cool quest line with the S-Arcs, and one of them turns out to be corrupted, and there's burning legion everywhere, and it's awesome. So, yeah, that's one thing I really do like about the Warlords of Draenor questing experience, is that I was really afraid when I started that there was not going to be a whole lot of, like, burning legion around, which, thankfully, there is. Because let's keep in mind that we've arrived at Draenor in a time that's just before the apocalypse started, really. Just before the Burning Legion invasion really kicked into high gear. We are there right before the apocalypse, which I was really afraid that there weren't going to be like a whole lot of like Burning Legion related things going on. But there's enough to make you like. I'm happy with the amount of Burning Legion stuff there is. Like, there's enough references to like the Dark One and all that sort of thing. Like, you get the sense that yes, there is impending doom, which is good. I felt like I was really scared that it was just gonna feel like a happy pappy smappy, or sort of just a happy little world where everybody's happy doing their own thing. And I was afraid that we really weren't gonna get that sense of impending doom, which thankfully there is a sense of impending doom. Which I don't know why I'm happy about that, but I am. So, yeah. So, questing experience, really good. They managed to pull out some new tricks. I was amazed with the amount of, like, alright, Shadow Moon Valley, questing experience, incredible. So much fun, never dull moment. Golgorond, it's fun. I like it. Really good. Really good. Second favorite zone, right next to Shadow Moon. And then you go to Taladar, and I was, like, incredibly worried about Taladar for irrational reasons, like highly irrational reasons, because I didn't really like, what was the zone in Outland called? The Terrakar Forest or something like that? I never liked that zone. The zone where Shatrath is. I never liked that zone. I would always dread going to that zone in the leveling process, because I always just thought it was boring for some reason. And I was really worried that because it was supposed to be the same sort of atmosphere, that it was going to be boring. And I don't know why I worried about that, because it's been years and they've evolved new technologies and all that stuff. And it's not boring by any stretch of the imagination. The new zone, it is good. It is just as good as the rest of the zones. Like, all of the zones in Draenor are better than all of the other zones anywhere else in the world. Let's get that right out of the way. So when I'm talking about problems with zones, it's in comparison to other Draenor zones, not zones in Pandaria or the Cataclysm zones or anything like that. So the thing about Taladar is that I just found it slightly uninteresting. The stuff with the Burning Legion was interesting. It just felt a little slow and grindy. But it was all interesting. The main problem I felt with the zone was that there's all this cool stuff happening, but it just has this really relaxing feel in the entire zone. And then ironically, Negron has the exact opposite, where this big anticlimactic, like this big mega awesome music is playing throughout the whole zone, and you're just sort of wandering around up a road. But anyway, back to Taladar. It's a really fun zone. The thing that really angered me, like this really angered me, is that Shatrath, new Shatrath, looks nothing like old Shatrath. No, wait, it's new old Shatrath looks nothing like old new Shatrath. Does that make sense? Outland Shatrath doesn't look anything like Draenor Shatrath. That makes me angry. And yes, there were the high hills and stuff, but they're in the wrong places, and I'm sorry, I don't see the sort of circumstances that could make the geological shape of the zone change enough where it looks the way it does now. Like, I don't understand. There's not enough mountains, and they're in the wrong place, and just the layout of the city. Like, there's a scenario and a crest and stuff. By the way, seamless blending in of scenarios. When you're questing, you get instantly warped into scenarios. You just walk into an area and you're warped into a scenario. It's great. So you get to a quest to go into the scenario, and you walk in and you go into Shatrath, and you're walking for Shatrath, and I found myself the entire time scratching my head trying to figure out where exactly am I standing in old new Shatrath. Because the new Shatrath looks nothing like the old Shatrath. So, like, where am I right now currently? Like, you know the way old Shatrath has the different levels of city? Nope, it's all flat except for the mountain parts, which are they, like, you don't even interact with them during the questing experience. Yeah. What is happening with that? That it doesn't just, you can look on it on a map and even see that it doesn't look anything like old Shattrath, and that makes me angry, because that's really the only thing in the game that doesn't look at least a little bit like its old counterpart, or its old new counterpart. Like the Black Temple, or Karabor, looks pretty much the same, except they added a dock for obvious reasons, because there's water now. There's the Auchindoun place. That looks pretty much the same. You can see how that became a crater. It's nice. It's got the different levels. I can honestly understand how it became the way it is. And it's actually really cool with Auchindoun, because you get a quest to go into the tombs. You know the tombs when you're questing in the old Auchindoun? You get a quest to go into a tomb. And actually, I think there's a dungeon in one of those tombs, isn't there? Right. New Auchindoun has those same sort of tombs. They're a bit bigger, they're a bit different shaped, but you can definitely see the similarities, which is, it's good. I like it. It's good. And yeah. So my real issue is the only issue I have with similarities is that Shattrath looks nothing like other Shattrath, and that makes me angry. But other than that, everything else looks pretty much the same. The big rock in Negron looks pretty much the same, except it's got more of the sort of spaceshipy Nehru sort of aspects. Here is something. Well, I've been talking about zones, and I sort of went off on a tantrum about how things are supposed to be the same, but not really. But anyway, let's get back to talking about zones. So let's go to the Spires of Iraq. Okay, most of the zone is fun, but then when you go to start questing with the Eriko, it just gets so boring. And I know it doesn't help. I was in a kind of a bad mood when I did the quest hub with the Eriko, and it just made me angrier, because I was already angry for some reason when I was questing through there, and I just got so bored and angry, and I just wanted it to be over. So Spires of Iraq, not exactly the awesomest place in the universe. Most of it is fun. Admiral Terra's Garrison, the thing with the goblins, it's all fun. And then you get to the Iraq, and the Arakoa people, not fun. Just I didn't enjoy it, and it doesn't help that I didn't like the Arakoa people to begin with. I never liked them in the old Outland. Don't like them now. I just no thanks. I was really happy to go to Negron. Also, I thought there'd be more spires. Anyway, Negron, awesome zone all around. I have no complaints with Negron, except the music is a little bit too epic in some kind of low-key places. Like, you're just walking around a road or in a hill, and there's this epic, awesome background music playing, and I'm like, this is a little anticlimactic, isn't it? Like, nothing interesting is happening right now. But, yeah, other than that, the cinematics are all worked into the zone perfectly. It's a beautiful sort of experience with the questing and all that. We finally get to kill Garrosh. Well, we don't get to kill Garrosh. Thrall gets to kill Garrosh, and it is awesome. If you haven't seen the cinematic on the WoW website, you should totally not check it out, because out of context, it will seem different than in context. I'm not going to say that it would seem bad out of context, because out of context, it still seems pretty good. It is an incredible cinematic, and just the satisfaction of finally seeing Garrosh dead is just so good. But you certainly see it in a different light when you've done all the questing in the zone. I'll say that. And there's some stuff with Euro. There's a really funny quest line involving Euro and a dwarf. I don't remember the dwarf's name. And they're sort of in a pranking war sort of thing. So the dwarf sent Euro a box full of baby Grons, and Euro boxed them all up and sends them back. And it's a really amusing quest. Probably one of the cutest quests in the entire game. You get to go around and just pick up all these little baby Grons. It's so cute. And then with the elements, you know the place in Old Outland with all the elements? The place in Old Negron, you know the sort of circular area with the elements, and there's like mountains around? That place still exists, and it's still there, and it's really cool. There's a lot of like heartwarming. There's actually quite a few like kind of heartwarming quests in the game. Like there's this one quest where you have to help an old shaman to to his last wishes. He's dying, and you get to help him with his last wishes. And then at the end, he gets reunited with his long dead wife, and it's really the cutest thing. They go flying off into the sunset as ghosts. It's really cute. There's a lot of epic moments. You always feel like you're doing something important, even if it's like one of these little cute things to get you sidetracked from the big epic important stuff that's happening. And I feel like everything has been done. Honestly, the only thing that I didn't like in the entire questing experience was the Eriko questing thing. Is it corrupted Eriko? In the Spires of Iraq. Did not have fun with that. But I didn't like the Eriko people. Is it corrupted Eriko, or is it just normal Eriko? The Eriko that can't fly. What are they called? I never liked them to begin with. And I think they based the questing with them on the assumption that I would like it and that you would like them. Like, if you like the Eriko, you probably won't have any problem with the questing. But me, I probably just did it in the wrong order. Like, I maybe should have done Admiral Terrace Garrison, then done the corrupted Eriko, and then done the goblins last. Instead, I did the corrupted Eriko last, and I just wanted to go to Negron so badly. And eventually I did, and Negron was awesome. 10 out of 10, was not disappointed by Negron. You will love Negron. They took the best zone in the game, and they made it epic with epic music, slightly anticlimactic in some places. So, yeah, that's it. Oh, we meet Rexar and Gorgrond. That's pretty cool. And there's Draenei S-Arcs all over the place. And, yeah. So, I think that's pretty much my experience. I think I've covered all the important bases, at least a little bit. I feel like I'm happy with all that's been said here today. So, I'll probably... yeah, I think that's it. So, hopefully you learned something. And, oh, flight points! If you are still the kind of person that's worried about flight points, don't be. The flight points are hilariously great. There's like 2 paths in the entire game that just... Alright, sometimes I think that the mounts fly just a little bit too high from flight point to flight point, but other than that, I mean, it's great. You get places like instantly. It's great. You can fly from one end of Draenor to the other in a really reasonable amount of time. It is great. You can fly to one end of Draenor to the other end of Draenor quicker than in anywhere else in the game, from anywhere else into the game, really. It's great. You will not have any problems with the flight points. I don't have any problems with the flight points. And you probably use them occasionally, which is it's a good thing that they're all organized properly, because I have found myself using them quite a bit, especially since ground mounts are nowhere near as fast as taking the flight points. So yeah, flight points are good, zones are good, Spires of Iraq is a little bit dull here and there, everything else is good. I thought Gorgrond was little. It was fun. I had fun for all of Gorgrond. There was a couple of really amusing quests involving disguising yourself as like one of those little dirt people things, and then crawling around in their holes. It's awesome. It's a really great zone, and there's Gron everywhere. And I opted for the building that sends me to the north instead to the south. So I don't know about the south. I went north, and then Khadgar's all over the place. Khadgar, great character. Probably here's my list of favorite characters, main characters in WOD. Khadgar would be my favorite. Then you have Gyro, and then those are really the only 2 characters that I really cared about. Everybody else was just an amusing side character, like Admiral Taylor and his little like gang of people in Pandaria. You don't really care about them while leveling in Pandaria, but they're amusing. There's a lot of characters like that. But I actually cared about Khadgar and Gyro, which is good. I can't believe they actually made me care. That's really surprising. So, yeah, now I think I've covered all the necessary bases. And thank you for listening, I suppose. And I hope I set some of your fears about the future at bay. Anyway, I've been talking and going off on random tangents for too long. This video is 25 minutes long, and I'm done. So thank you all for watching, listening. And I hope you don't feel that I've wasted your time. I feel like I've talked about all important things for this entire experience. I don't think I've rambled too much, have I? I am rambling now, so I'm going to end it. Bye-bye.